You gotta love the old time stadiums and arenas, places like Fenway Park and Madison Square Garden and Lambeau Field. But in recent years, owners don't care how good their facility is, whether it's new or old. All they care about now is tearing them down and building a bigger stadium or arena. And they say that you have to pay for it. When they say you, they mean me or you, the taxpayers, the ticket holders. This is curious because I know it's their business and they can treat it as they wish. But what they're essentially doing the last generation is they're extorting or extracting as much money as they can from the local municipalities and the state to build their new facility. And if you don't pay up, they say, we'll take our ball elsewhere. Well, they can do as they please. But we're talking about most of these owners are billionaires. And their franchise are valued in the billions. You know? And they want us to pay for the stadiums that we're not even going to be able to afford tickets to. I don't get it. Other businesses don't operate this way. AMC doesn't say, hey, we're going to take our multiplex, we're going to tear it down, and we want you, the film goers, to pay for the new multiplex, which will have bigger screens and maybe more expensive popcorn. Huh? Did you see the owner of the Empire State Building? Imagine him or her saying, all right, let's knock that baby down. All right, and we're going to build a taller Empire State Building with bigger offices and better bathrooms. But everybody who rents an office from us, you got to pitch in, or we're going to take the Empire State Building to another state. I'm not putting up with it anymore. Okay? No more public funds for stadiums. No more welfare for billionaires. All right? Now, if these fat asses sitting on a pile of cash want a handout, well, then call Warren Buffett or Elon Musk or Bill Gates or Taylor Swift for all I care. You're not getting it from us. All right? Don't even think of passing a hat in my neighborhood. And if I so much as see any of you thinking of knocking on my door and asking for a single penny, as God is my witness, I will put your deep-pocketed, stinking rich head from here to Poughkeepsie, and I guarantee you, I will be gambling mad.
Norman Chad. Norman Chad. Norman Chad. And welcome to Gambling Mad with Norman Chad. I am Norman Chad. Gambling Mad, sponsored each week by the good people at Fritos. Fritos, picked fresh from Central California trees every morning, delivered to your retailer every afternoon. And by Fresca, the remarkable, refreshing taste of Fresca. Fritos and Fresca, it's a meal. Today on Gambling Mad, we will talk about the famed Las Vegas Black Book. We're going to tell you why the Denver Nuggets are going to win the NBA championship. And we will rank the world's top oceans. Of course we will. But first, a little more about this stadium soft shoe. These stadiums, the stadium situation, not good. Okay, here are a couple of recent examples. The Buffalo Bills' new stadium, to open in 2026, is estimated to cost $1.7 billion. Taxpayers are on the hook for about half of that, $850 million. It's the largest public contribution ever to an NFL stadium. How about Las Vegas? The Raiders' Allegiant Stadium cost nearly $2 billion, and taxpayers were responsible for $750 million of that. Meanwhile, The Oakland Athletics hope to move to the Las Vegas Strip in a few years, with a baseball stadium costing $1.5 billion. At least $400 million will come from the county and the state. And now, last week, the biggest bomb of all, the Taj Mahal of taxpayer stadium grift. The Chicago Bears want to build a new stadium next to Soldier Field. It's a $5 billion project, $3.2 billion for the stadium, $1.5 billion for infrastructure, plus $300 million for, I'm not sure, knickknacks. Okay? The public cost would be more than $900 million. Let's just call it $1 billion, because then I'm going to be more than $1 billion, trust me. The Bears brass says that the project will generate $8 billion in economic impact for the region. As my uncle Nathan would say, fiddlesticks! As my cousin Peebo would say, balderdash. Okay, it's all a shimmy sham. These publicly funded stadium projects have been proven time again to be an economic drain, an economic mirage, an economic disaster for the public. Here's an idea. Let's take all those hundreds of millions of dollars, of public dollars, in Buffalo and in Las Vegas and in Chicago, and put it towards, I don't know, education, crime, healthcare, housing, quality of living? Nah, that would just be stupid. We move on. And we move on with the first of the weekly trivia questions. Is there music going on now? I hear it in my head. Our trivia question for you this week. How many people are currently listed in the Nevada Black Book? Okay, what is the Black Book? Well, I'm assuming it's a book whose cover is black. Okay, but more specifically, it's a list of persons compiled since 1960 who are banned for life from Nevada casinos. You can appeal it, but it is a life ban. The only way you get out of it is when you die. They take you out of the book. So there's a lot of ways to get black booked. A felony cheating conviction, for instance, is the quickest way. But you can get into the black book just by having a, quote, notorious and unsavory reputation, end quote, as defined by state and federal authorities. A lot of organized crime figures were original Black Book inductees back in 1960. Tony the Ant Spilatro. Tell me he wasn't a stone-cold mortal lock to make the Black Book. Okay, back to our trivia question. How many people are currently in the Black Book? The answer? 37. Man, I actually thought the number would be higher. I mean, I would ban every Kardashian and every Trump. That's got to be 75 people right there. Okay, of the 37 in the Black Book, 36 are men. Why? We're a little smarter when it comes to cheating schemes and stuff, and we're deeper thinkers. But, sadly, once in a while, we get caught. The Nevada Black Book. It is time for D-Gen's Gonna D-Gen. D-Gen's Gonna D-Gen, case number 1. This is the story of Mitchell Kerr, a New Zealand harness racing trainer who illegally gambled more than $2 million before filing for bankruptcy. But he did more than that. In his 3-year training career, he sent invoices to 6 owners for insurance premiums on fabricated policies he had taken out on their horse. But he did even more than that. He was convicted of fraud for selling a horse that did not exist. He made up the horse. Out of thin air, he created a horse. It was a phantom animal. After the buyer finally became suspicious, Kerr sent him photos of a horse that resembled what the fictitious horse supposedly looked like. And Kerr continued to invoice his victim for training and insurance. Now, sure, I feel bad. I feel bad for the fella who fell for this scam. But how about me? I think I once bet on that horse. D-Gen's gonna D-Gen. D-Gen's gonna D-Gen. Case number 2. An individual is frequenting the Northview Cemetery in Dearborn, Michigan, and pooping. Okay, let me repeat that for those of you who are half asleep and scratching yourself. Someone is going to a cemetery in Michigan and crapping on the gravestones. According to the Detroit Free Press, Dearborn police have been called to the cemetery 7 times since February 25th after human feces were found among the gravestones. A source there says that the pooper always comes after dark, always wears dark clothing and a hoodie, and, quote unquote, leaves a big mess, including used toilet paper. The pooper, though, apparently is a big fan of actor George Papard. The Breakfast at Tiffany's and Banachek star is buried there, but the pooper has not sullied his resting place. By the way, if you've never heard of George Papard, Google him, you dingleberries! That's D-Gen's gonna D-Gen. All right, let's talk NBA for a moment and look for a way to make some money, or as the case may be, lose some money. I'm looking at the current odds to win the NBA championship, and if you're looking for value, you got teams like the Oklahoma City Thunder at plus 900, bet 100 to win 900. The Minnesota Timberwolves at plus 900. The New York Knicks at plus 1,400. The Dallas Mavericks at plus 1,800. Now, if you want to get cute and give yourself a multiple sweat, then consider putting down $100 each on 2 or 3 of those teams. See, then if one of them makes it all the way and wins it all, you've got a nice payoff. And you only risk $200 or $300. You could win $900, $1,400, or $1,800. Now, me, I hate betting chalk. But in my calendar pick of the week, I'm going to stand with the defending champion Denver Nuggets at plus 225. They will give you your money's worth, okay? They've got a good coach, Michael Malone. They've got the best player, the Joker, Mr. Jokic. And there are no knuckleheads on the team. That is an underrated aspect of any good team. No knucklehead players who are going to go in there and do something stupid. And P.S., they play a mile high in Denver, okay? If you're coming in from out of town, it is hard to play in the clouds. Take the Nuggets plus 225 to win it all. By the way, my calendar picks of the week, 58% over the last 15 years. Previously, I had done my pantyhose picks of the week. They didn't go so well. Plus, it was hard to talk. We move on. You know, folks, 71% of the Earth's surface is water covered. Just look out the window right now and you probably will see some water. And oceans account for 96% of all the Earth's water. Now, I assume many of you have frequently wondered, what are the best oceans? Well, today I give you the Mount Rushmore of oceans. Number 1, yes, the Pacific Ocean, okay? The best of the best, ranked the number 1 rated ocean in the world 452 consecutive years. Nothing compares to the Pacific. Next, the Indian Ocean. I got to tell you, probably the most underrated ocean in the world. I just think they have a marketing problem. Next, my friends, you see it, the Mediterranean Sea. Technically, the Mediterranean is not an ocean, but it acts like an ocean, and it is the cradle of all civilization. And finally, the Arctic Ocean. Cold, yes, but clear and clean. And who doesn't love penguins?
Norm, that's the Antarctic. I think it's what you're trying to, if you're talking about the penguins.
Penguins?
Yeah. Antarctic,
Okay.
Not the Arctic, bro.
Okay, my bad. So penguins are from Antarctica. Okay, well, let's just fly them up, nonstop. Nothing to pack, no carry-on, bang, penguins on Arctic beaches. By the way, my apologies to the Atlantic Ocean. It just ain't what it used to be. In food news, we journey to Mercado República de San Luis Potosí in Mexico. Now, let me preface this item by reminding everyone out there that different cultures have different standards and different traditions. We eat cows here in America. Many Asian nations consume dog meat. Some European nations consume horse meat. In Mercado República de San Luis Potosí, they eat rat meat. According to the Oddity Central website, rat meat is favored in that part of Mexico for its flavor and for its alleged medicinal value. It supposedly is helpful with anemia, diabetes, and cancer. Now, there are a bunch of food stalls set up there daily with just one rat meat vendor left in that market. His name is Jose Remedios Hernandez. He catches the rats from the nearby countryside, and then he sells rat broth. That's his big seller, rat broth. Each bowl of rat broth includes vegetables and spices and one whole field rat. One whole field rat. All that for $5.80. $5.80. That's a steal. Now, personally, I like a nice RLT, a rat, lettuce, and tomato sandwich when the rat is nice and lean and a tomato is ripe. Speaking of value menus, ask yourself this. Why are so many fast food chains started in Southern California? That's easy, because there are so many people in LA driving around looking for some fast food. People think Angelinos are health food nuts. No. When I first moved here, I noticed that every other corner had a strip mall with a burger joint, a donut shop, and a nail salon. Burgers, donuts, and nails, that is Los Angeles. I saw an article recently in the Los Angeles Times, and it listed all the junk food restaurants that originated in Southern California. An amazing list. Here we go. Bob's Big Boy in 1936, McDonald's in 1940, Carl's Jr. in 1941, Baskin Robbins in 1945, hot dog on a stick. Why would you have a hot dog any other way? In 1946, Foster's Freeze, 1946, Fatburger, 1947, In-N-Out, 1948, Jack in the Box, 1951, Wiener Schnitzel, 1961, Taco Bell, 1962, Del Taco, 1964, Panda Express, 1983. All fast, cheap, somewhat digestible food. It should be noted that Los Angeles is also the home of Erewhon markets, where I believe they charge you $7 just to look at an avocado. We move on. Before we leave, I'm going to say this one time and one time only. I will not watch the Mike Tyson-Jake Paul boxing match in July, and neither should you. The state of Texas, where it's being held, the state of Texas just classified it as a sanctioned professional fight. I'm surprised Texas isn't extending its open carry law for their two guys. Heck, Mike Tyson's always been scary. Imagine him with a rifle in the ring. This fight is a preposterous carnival predicated on rubberneckers. I ain't rubbernecking. One guy is 57 years old and hasn't fought professionally for 20 years. He's the bearded lady in the circus now with tattoos. The other guy is Jake Paul, a YouTuber turned supposed boxer turned professional punk. Why are they fighting? What type of question is that? Why do you think they're fighting? Money, you huckadoodles. Now, I'm sure Netflix will attract a boatload of viewers. Myself, I'll be watching Walker, Texas Ranger reruns on MeTV. Love Walker, Texas Ranger. All right, Uber Black is here. That wraps up another edition of Gambling Mad. I am Norman Chad. And remember, if you're rolling the dice, make sure they are loaded.
Gambling Mad Mad with Norm Chad is written by Norm Chad and ghost-written by Norm Chad. Executive producer John Scheinberg, Rick Barrio-Dill, and produced by Norm Chad and Rick Barrio-Dill. Associate producer is Bree Coury. Showrunner is Dan Telfer. Audio-video engineering and studio facilities provided by 360 Pod Studios Beverly Hills and Slap Studios LA. If you want to complain to Norm about anything, make sure to reach out at Gambling Mad Show, anywhere you get your socials, and at Gambling Mad with Norm Chad on YouTube. And if you really want to get at him, send a message to info@slapstudiosla.com. And big thanks to Tony, the special sauce, who truly is the boss. Thank you for the cookies and the treats. We promise you to make the post-production move faster.